Hi, I'm calling about the grocery allowance card benefit. Oh.
All right, so we're about ready. We got 5 minutes. So how are you today?
Because of that, there are ancient books written by insect and in blood. But the very strength that binds them can also become the blade that tears them apart. For others, it's a physical core of ancestors. For some, life is a relentless conquest, a battle for every inch of territory. Here, alliances are forged in trial by fire, and brotherhoods are tempered through hardship. These are the sagas of rise and fall, survival and sacrifice, where legends are etched into the very soul of the land. Traveler, every creature must protect their life. In the heart of Africa, there is a land forged by time and conflict, a kingdom ruled by tooth and claw. Here on the sun-scorched savannas of Manor, each day reveals an ancient story written in blood and dust. This is not merely a chronicle of lives. This is the saga of an empire. The Mapogo Empire. The name Mapogo was taken from a South African security company notorious for its brutality and efficiency, fitting the old generations to come. Percy, the oldest of the coalition, had a difficult start in life. Separated from his pride at just 20 months old, he was forced to work alone. Ordinarily, a young lion like this has little chance of survival. However, fate intervened, was accepted by the males of the Western tribe. Night after night, he stood silent on the other males. No one suspected he was about to become part of the most formidable coalition in natural history. A subtle shift in the of power was at hand. Led by the seasoned Kosi, 5 young bloodlines, each with a fire in its eyes broken. They were not just leading a fight, they were forging a brotherhood. And with their departure, a tremor of change rippled across the savannah.
All right, guys,
So you're telling me the bottom number?
yeah, most numbers are important, but the bottom number is really important. You need to make sure that.
Thank
Sure got it. Should have a couple of minutes. No, we don't. We have about 30 seconds.
You gotta come to the interview. But the interview 71.
Say it to me again. Oh, Central.
Not gonna be.
That's right. All right, time to get started. Let me share a couple things with you. Good morning, happy Friday. I understand that since it's Friday and everything, we're gonna go real slack. We've been talking this whole week about our emotions. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about taking care of those emotions, how to deal with that stuff, and we're gonna do a thing called TIP, and then we're gonna do a thing called nines, and so we'll get that done. But look, we need to fill out our sign-in sheets, right? And we need to have our book. You got your book with you, that's a good thing. But we need to have the sign-in sheets filled out. And look, I'm always telling you to make sure that it's legible so that I can read it. But another thing that's important is that you get it on the right sheet. Yesterday, someone from HHSC signed off on the TAP sheet. Look, that don't sound like a lot, but I do HHSC first. And so I did all the notes for HHSC, and then I went on to the TAP thing, and I had already closed out HHSC. And so when I went to the TAP thing, there were too many names on there. So I had to do TAP and then go back and do that one name separately, which caused me a whole lot more work and stuff. I know that's not really concerning to a lot of people, but while I was doing that extra note and all of that stuff, I made the determination that if you can't put it on the right sheet, I'm not going to give you credit for the group. I'm not going to go through all of that. So make sure that you know, and the person, I'm not going to tell y'all who it was that put his name on the wrong sheet, but that person had put his name on the right sheet like 900 times. And then that one day put it on the wrong sheet. So that person knows which sheet to put that on.
We get some leaves, we get donuts.
If you get, you're gonna get a donut.
I never got donut.
Yeah, you're gonna get a donut if you can put it on. If you that just took all the donuts out. Yeah, and I'm not gonna say who destroyed the donut, but he's in the class, had black hat on, red shirt. But I ain't gonna tell you. I don't want to point that out. I don't want to point that out.
I never got
He's gonna feel so bad when this is over with. He's gonna have an excuse for relapse. So just make sure you got it on the right thing, and I appreciate that. Make sure you brought your book to class this week. And look, you guys have taught the guys over here at South have been doing very well. You've got your books here every morning, and I do appreciate that. Also at North, you guys have had, you ladies over there, you've had your books with you every morning, and people in that group are making sure that people have their books, and I do appreciate that. So, what's our goal for the group today?
To have our book.
To have our books. That's one goal. You got yours. All right, we got our books.
Learn something new.
To learn something new. We've been studying all week about our emotions, how to deal with emotions, how to use those emotions. And so this today, we're going to close down the emotion part of our study today with learning a little something about how to deal with our emotions. Okay? So, because, look, we all have those emotions, and so we're going to be dealing with those emotions. But first, let me share this with you as well. Now, on Monday, we're going to start a few different things. We're going to come up with a new activity I got rid of the questionnaire. I threw all of that away. But we're going to come up with this weekend. I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to come up with a new activity that we can do here in group. One of the other things that we're going to do, I'm going to be asking someone in the group to do a portion of the group. That means you're going to come up here, and you're going to come up here, and you're going to have a little something. That ain't your couch. You're on the wrong couch.
Well, you got
I thought you were going to the doctor.
I am. I'm reading right now.
So anyway, we're going to be asking different people to have a portion. What I'm going to do is whatever the topic is for next week, I'm going to give you a short spiel on that, and then I'll give it to you, and then you're going to be able to come and do that. We're going to do that in both groups. So the first group that's going to be able to do that will be North Point, because Monday I will be at North Point. So somebody at North Point, be preparing. Just get yourself ready, and that morning I will give you whatever you need to share with the group, and you're going to have like 5 minutes. You can't have the whole group. No, they pay me. So, I'm going to have to come up here and do something. I'm going to have to act like I like this thing, So y'all can have 5 minutes or so. Right now, we're on page 21. We just always look at page 21. Yes, sir?
If we do a very good presentation, maybe
if you do a very good presentation, we will certainly get a donut. Look,
I never got
donuts are coming. I was going to stop by and get some donuts this morning, and I ran right by the place. But because they're poison to me, I can't eat them. So just getting them is a trigger. So what's the point? What's the point of page 21? Also, look, on Monday for both groups, we're going to be having a pre and post assessment. Again, do y'all appreciate the pre and post assessments? Are those good? Is that okay? Just some questions that you can ask before we begin, and then at the end of the thing, we can re-ask those questions and see if we've learned a little something. Is that okay? You like that at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people like them. Some people say, some people don't. But I kind of like it because it helps us to focus a little bit, engage a little bit better, and so those things are good for us. What's the purpose of this?
to learn about you.
This week we're learning a little bit about our emotions, but page 21 over here is first off to get you familiar with the 4 main points that this recovery program has. We have 4 main things that this program is looking at, and these 4 things are what we're getting out there, because we really feel like if you get a hold of these 4 things, that you have a little bit better, or probably a whole lot better chance at your recovery and maintaining your recovery. So we're looking at physical health. We did that last week, and we're looking at emotional health here. And we've learned this week that my physical health is tied in to my emotional health. And I think I said that backwards. My emotional health is tied in with my physical health. Because if I am in good shape and if I feel well, then my emotions are better under check, right? My emotions are in a better place. And so I feel a little bit better about those things. One of the other things that we look at, and this will be next week, we'll be beginning to look at spiritual health. And a lot of times this kind of, that's a place that's a little bit hard for a lot of people. I've talked to people before that said they felt like God had just abandoned them. And I have to let folks know right off, God's not going, I will abandon you. Yeah, I will abandon. When it gets too hard, I'm going home. I'll abandon you, but God never will. So our higher power never will. So we're going to be talking about that next week. And then the week after that, we're going to get into family health. Now, this page 21 not only tells you the four main things that we want to keep going over and over and over so that we can get that incorporated into our recovery and incorporated into our life as a whole, but we also give you 5 different spots where you can look at and find out just exactly where you might be on your spiritual journey or on your physical journey or on your mental, wherever it is. There's 5 different spots, and usually you're on one of those spots. All right. So what we do is take those and take a look at them and decide where we are and what is the point of knowing where I am on any given point. What do you think the point of that might be?
It'll show you your weaknesses.
It'll show me, and it may not be a weakness, but it shows me where I am. And it helps me, because here's the deal on each and every one of them. As I'm focused on my recovery, I want to improve in every level. I want to get better at that, right? Whatever it is. If it's family health, if we were in here, we came here, and our family health was really bad. At one point, my family health was really bad. At this time, my family health is way over here on the other side. And, so we need to be moving that, because as we move that, whatever it is, as we move that toward the right-hand side of that page, then that's helping in our recovery, and that's helping in our own self-esteem, self-respect, and all of that kind of stuff. So we need to look at that and then see if we can't move from that. Most of us, when we come in, it's just like the stages of change. We talked about that. When you come in, most people come in at pre-contemplation. What does that mean? Y'all remember?
Pre-contemplation about
That means I don't think I have a problem at all. I'm not even thinking about it. So I don't have a problem at all. You ever been at that place? I have. And then the next one is contemplation. That gets to a place where I think I might have a little bit of an issue. So, and we need to be moving in that as well. So, this morning, the first thing we're going to look at is tip. We're trying to get ourselves so we can get to a place where whatever these emotions, whatever they are in our lives and whatever they are causing in our lives, we want to be able to deal with them, right? You need to be able to deal with your own emotion. So you're like, tell me your name. What's your name? Mr. Hartfield. Mr. Hartfield got his feelings hurt. It's because I put my bag in the place where he usually sleeps during group, and that kind of hurt his feelings. So does he need to deal with the fact that not letting him sleep on this side of the couch it has hurt his feelings? Yeah, we need to be able to deal with our own feelings, right? Here's the deal. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. They're all valid. But sometimes those emotions, sometimes those feelings can get us in trouble. Yes, sir? He put himself in that position. We gotta understand it. If you're gonna sit up here on the couch out of the group, you're gonna get talked to and talked about. And he's supposed to be going to the doctor today, so when he leaves, we'll talk about him. Right? I got some things I need to say about him. And then Mr. Freeman over here with his eyes closed. The first thing you say, man, I ain't sleep. Well, quit, open your eyes, quit snoring and slobbering.
Check him. He had a birthday party yesterday, so he might have got a hangover.
He had a birthday party?
His birthday was yesterday.
Your birthday was yesterday?
So he might have got a hangover.
Well, happy birthday, belated. And the reason I didn't come to your birthday party when people told me it was your birthday party, I said, that man's so old he can't possibly be having any more birthdays. So, how old were you?
60.
60 years old? That ain't old. I have underwear older than you, man. Come on. They got some holes in them and stuff like that. But they still operate. All right, so sometimes, look, This is the distress tolerance skill. We need to get to the place where when our emotions get to a place where they cause distress. What is distress? Distress. What did you say? Say it again.
Pimp down. Pimp stress.
Stress that's out of control. Right? That's distress. Stress that you can't deal with. Stress that's out of control. That's distress. So our emotions are what gets us to that place of distress. Our emotions are what causes a whole bunch of the stress in our life. Now, look, I'm going to tell you that a bunch of the times when we see something and it hurts our feelings, when we hear something and it hurts our feelings, when we see something or hear something, do something, somebody else does something that causes us to react in anger or react with hurt feelings or react with shame, guilt, remorse, all of those emotions, usually the way we're thinking about it is not what it really is. Most of the time we assume a lot of stuff, right?
You know what assume does, right?
Say it again?
You said you know what assume does, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that has happened to me on several occasions. And so, he said, you know what assume makes you. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that nasty stuff. Yeah. But here's the deal. Should we assume?
No, sir.
Should we never assume?
No.
Well, sometimes I think perhaps we can assume some things. How about if you're standing at the edge of the canal and you see an alligator go in the canal over there, and you see an alligator go in the canal over there, and you know you need to get to the other side of the canal, is it safe to assume you shouldn't swim across it? I think that's a safe assumption. You know, I'm not getting off in there. When I first came to Texas, I had a high-level job. Y'all know what a flagger is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was a flagger for a little while. I'm going to tell. Oh yeah, I did the stair stepping, and all of that kind of mess, and flagging. And the airplane come over and try to hit you, and then dump all those chemicals on you. When I first got here, I was 6'3", but those chemicals shrunk me. It's true. And they did come over a couple times and just dump it all on you. Yeah, and it's chemical. It's fertilizer, or it's malathion, or it's something that they're putting out on the stuff. And man, it starts burning and stuff. There's a canal right there. Guess what I'm going to do? I jump off in that canal, and there's so many alligators in there, you can almost walk on those things getting across there, And I was going down the canal one time, and I just knew. I knew everything's supposed to be bigger in Texas. So I went out there, and I'm looking, and there's this rat, and he's about that long. So, oh, my God. And my father-in-law said, that's a nutria. I said, nutria? That's a rat. I don't care what his first name is, but his last name is Rat. So I started looking for the IH-10 out there, because if you get on IH-10, go east, you wind up in the civilized country. You get back up in Mississippi over there after a while. We don't have nutri-rats over there. We'll allow it. We make them all go to Texas, yes, sir?
Some people eat the meat.
Some people eat the nutri-rats. Yeah, God bless them. Eat them all. Get them, just eat them. I'm sure they're good. Cook them up, put a little barbecue sauce on them, a little bitty apple in their mouth, and eat them suckers, man. Because I'll be all right if they eat all of them. We were going down a canal in a boat, and one of them kind of come up like that. And I thought, oh, my God, you're in a quandary at that time. Because I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to leave the boat. But if I leave the boat, I'll be in the water with the nutri-rat. So, we got some issues. Yeah. Anyway, when you're overwhelmed by intense emotions, that's distress. Now, this tip skills can help us shift the body into a more relaxed state. So, we've been talking about emotions. Sometimes we need to relax, get down off of those emotions. Use one or more of these strategies to regain stability in moments of turmoil. Now, what's turmoil?
Trouble.
trouble, mess going on, argument, fighting, fussing, getting angry, having your feelings hurt, doing all kind of crazy mess. We talked about effective interpersonal communication yesterday, and that's a good thing. But if you sometimes you just can't get effective interpersonal communication going on, people just will not allow it. So we may have to use some of these things. So what's the T for? Turmoil. What else? That's not right. It's not turmoil. Traumatic. No, it's not traumatic. What is it? Trouble. Now all of those apply, don't they? Terrible. Yeah. Tragedy. All of those kinds of things, they do all apply. But what this stands for is temperature. Yeah, it stands for temperature. Temperature. Back in Mississippi, we speak correctly. Over here in Texas, y'all use double negatives all the time. Yeah. Do all sorts of stuff. All the time. Y'all ever listen to Miss? Y'all ever listen to Miss? Y'all ever listen to Miss Kim talk? Oh, ever listen to her speak? She's from Alabama. My cousin, who had passed away, we're going over there to visit. My cousin is still alive over there. We don't do a lot of visiting with dead people. They're just boring. But she's from Alabama. She sounds just like Kim, but they speak very slowly. And her name is Kitty. And she would talk like that. And Kim does the same thing. Well, Dr. Garner. Yeah, you sound like kinfolk. That's good stuff. So look, here's the deal. Why it works. What we need to do when we're getting angry. What we need to do when we're in shame. What we need to do when we have our feelings hurt or something is to get our temperature down. When you get angry or something like that, you get your feelings hurt, you have shame, guilt, remorse, all of that stuff, your temperature goes up. This is why people talk about us being hot under the collar, blowing our stack, all of that kind of stuff. So how does it work? Why does it work? Cooling the body slows the heart rate. We were talking about high blood pressure out here, out in the back just a few minutes ago. And, when your heart rate is up high, you're going to be pumping more blood through your body. Does that make your temperature go up? Yeah, if you have high blood pressure, you're probably going to have a higher temperature as well, right? If you're sleeping in my class today, you don't get credit for the class. You got to stay awake. And I know you're awake, but you got to let me know you know you're awake. So cooling the body slows your heart rate. It also slows your breathing, shifting attention away from intensive emotions and intrusive thoughts. What's an intrusive thought?
An intrusive thought might maybe you want to punch somebody.
Maybe you want to punch somebody. Maybe they don't have the business to do that. Maybe this, maybe that. Thoughts that you really weren't wanting to entertain, but they come into your mind anyway. They're just intrusive. They're just intruding into what you don't want to be talking about that. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be thinking that way, but here it comes. Right? That person doesn't have the right to think about me that way. Right? Let me ask you a quick question. Does that person have the right to think about you that right way?
Yeah.
Sure, it's none of your business how I think about you. Do I think about you?
You should.
Sure, I pretty much have to. If I'm up here and I'm speaking to the group, then I have to. I'm looking. I'm always, y'all notice, I'm looking around the group and I'm finding people who have their eyes closed. I'm finding people who are going to sleep. We've actually had a guy in this group snoring and spittle running out the side of his mouth. And when we woke him up, he said, "Oh, I wanted to sleep." I said, "Well, were you dead?" I mean, it's one or the other. So yeah, I'm doing all of that stuff. So I do Certainly I do. And I do have some of those intrusive thoughts that run in through my mind like, well, that person's not listening at all. That person doesn't have any desire to get into some real recovery because they're not trying to get anything out of the group. That person doesn't like me. That person, is just completely, all of those things, just completely disengaged from the group. And so, all of those are intrusive thoughts because I'll tell you, and this, I don't like to say this, but let me say this anyway. I have to say a lot of things I don't like. If you're not fully engaged in a project, or not fully engaged in a group, or fully engaged in anything, you let everything bother you and everything be a distraction. Can you learn anything from the group? Well, some people can't, but look, a lot of people can. You can get something, and it's good if you can get 10% out of the group. Is that helpful? Sure it is. I'm a vet, and just about everywhere I go, they give you a veteran's discount. No, it's not much. They'll give you 10%, and see, he's talking to the lady. It's disruptive for her to walk through. It's more disruptive for Mr. Isles to stop paying any attention to group at all. He wasn't paying attention because he was writing down and talk to the lady for 5 minutes. Well, can I get a phone call? That's a bit of it. And so I do have that intrusive thought come through your mind. Like, if we were out on the street and he was half the size of you and twice as old as he was, I'd hire somebody to go slap him. Those intrusive thoughts come through there. They do that. So we think about those things, and what happens when we have an intrusive thought come through? Something we don't even really want to have in our. I don't like her. I don't like him. I don't like what they say. I don't like what they're doing. All of that stuff just comes through there. What do you do? What happens when they come through your mind like that? It increases that emotion. It increases how the negative thoughts that's already happening, increases my emotional reaction to that. Now I'm already upset, and then here comes this thought that makes that go up a little bit more. I don't need any help getting angry, but here comes some thought that runs through my mind that helps me get angry. What do we do about it? Yes, sir.
Can they be considered unwanted thoughts?
Yeah. That's what intrusive is like. He said, can't that be considered unwanted thoughts? Yes. If they're intrusive, then that means they're intruding. It's like somebody breaking into your house at night. Those people are intrusive. They are intruders. What happens when they break into your house at night?
Get shot.
I always try to figure out who they are. So I shoot them 9 times, and then I go say, okay, is there any identifier? Anything? Does they have a wallet? No, I don't shoot people. Yeah, after I killed those first 3, it just wasn't exciting anymore. So I stopped doing that. So here's the deal: how to practice this? What do you do? Now, seriously, look what we're looking to do when there's an intense emotion in your life. We're seriously trying to get your temperature down. And it said, look. It works. We need to do it. The next time you feel yourself, I talk to angry people all the time. The next time you feel yourself getting angry, you need to do this. It'll help. Okay, so here's how you practice it. Sounds a little funny, but briefly. Now, you need to get a hold of the briefly part of that. Because it says, briefly immerse your face in cold water. Now that's going to bring your temperature down, but if you don't do it briefly, you're going to drown. So don't hold your head underwater long enough to take your life, but hold your head underwater just long enough to take the strife, right? So just briefly put your head under. Y'all ever done that?
No.
You ought to try that. That's exhilarating. I have done that. You just put your head down, let it just get all over your face, and it's going to lower your temperature, and you'll feel a whole lot better if you're getting angry. This will help that go down. And we usually we teach that stuff. Nobody ever does that. Nobody ever does that. I've talked to some of my anger people, and they tell me, well, I didn't stick my head in the water, but I took a cold wash rag, and I dabbed it on my face, just like that. You know, and then I felt better after. That's not what you do. That it may help you, but sticking your head in the water, that's a whole lot. Put some water on your hair, all of that stuff. If you get your hair good and wet, guess what? It stays good and wet for a minute, unless you dry it real well. And so if it stays good and wet for a minute, it's going to continue to cool it down. I see the quizzical look upon your face. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I'm confused.
Oh, well,
You said make your temperature go down and your anger, both, or just your temperature?
you know, what happens with when you're see the anger, he said, does it make the temperature go down and the anger? What happens is when you are getting angry, your temperature goes up. So when you lower your temperature, it will lower your anger response. So when I'm angry, if I lower my temperature, it's going to help my anger subside. Yes, sir.
Due to blood pressure, probably raising the blood pressure.
Yeah. When your blood pressure goes up, it's going to cause your temperature to go up because it's pumping more blood through your body. So take a cold shower. Anybody ever had a cold shower? I have. That we're doing all the time over here. I have attempted to take a cold shower before, but that's hard. That is hard for me because most of the parts of your body that is covered by your clothing and stuff like that. He was real nice. He didn't come out. He didn't wave. He has in the past, and he's been really disruptive. He's been very good here lately. I called him down the other day, and he's been quieter when he comes in and stuff. That's real nice. But he couldn't help it. Before he got out, he disrupted class.
He didn't mean no harm.
He didn't mean no harm, but he sneezed on you. You really need to go to the doctor now.
So we got the harm.
Yeah, you really need to go to the doctor now. So take a cold shower. And all the parts of your body that you usually don't have hanging out become a little bit more tender. Like your face is not really tender. I don't want to get hit in the mouth or anything like that because that don't feel good, but your face is not really tender. So you can put that thing under cold water without a whole lot of problem. But when you turn that cold water on in the shower, when you stand down there and it hits you on the back and stuff like that, that is hard to do. But if you're really angry, if you've really got your temperature up, then that's a really good way to bring it down. Yeah.
Tell you how to do it.
Tell you how to
You
do
don't
it.
just jump on the cold. You start off with it warm, grass, turn the cold.
Yeah. That's the frog thing. You put a frog in cold water and turn the heat on, and he'll swim around until he dies. He'll swim around until the boiling water kills him because he ain't got sense enough to jump out. The water just gets hot slowly at a time. Now I don't know how many of you need to have that idea that you want to boil a frog like that. So, but if you do, if that's something that you want to do, let me know. We'll get you okay, I knew you would, and we'll get you a session with Miss Sierra because I think you might need one. So I said, look, take a cold shower, apply an ice pack or some ice cubes to your skin, avoiding extreme or prolonged cold. Don't hold it right directly on your skin for a long time. But wrap it in a washcloth and then hold it next to your skin and stuff like that, and that'll help. Look, this is what all of the people tell me in my anger class. Hold a wet cloth on your face or neck. That helps, but that's the last thing they tell you down here because all the rest of them are more effective. So what from all of this stuff that we're doing, what can you assume? What can you ascertain from that? What can you get from that? What do you know after we talk about all of that? What do you think?
And when we get angry, our temperature goes.
It does. And what do we want to do?
Lower our temperature.
We want to lower that. We want to be able to control our anger. And so we want to get that down. So I don't want to get angry unless I'm in danger, my wife's in danger, you're in danger, you need some help. I might allow myself to get angry there. But I don't want to get it because remember, we lose 40 points off of our IQ, and then we're liable to do goofy stuff. And we don't want to do goofy stuff. But go ahead, you got something. Or Sergio, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it was about something you said earlier on. We were talking about intrusive thoughts, and you were saying how do you stop the intrusive thoughts, but I don't know if I was paying attention, but I don't think you ever said how.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever said how do you stop intrusive thoughts, but how do you do that? How would you stop an intrusive thought?
Self-affirmation.
Say it again.
Self-affirmation.
He said, don't entertain that thought. That's a good point. Here's one of the things that we've got to recognize is that it is an intrusive thought. When something comes through my head, I need to know, hey, I wouldn't normally have thought that. You know, I'm not a violent person, and I wouldn't normally have thought that. But, you know, so if that came through my head and that's not something that's normally coming through my head, I need to do what's called, and y'all should have heard about it in treatment, I need to do what's called thought stopping. How do you stop thoughts?
Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Now, y'all know that one of the things is the popper, snapper. You got a rubber band, you put a rubber band around your wrist and you pull it back and snap it. When you've got a thought where you're thinking about you're thinking about getting angry, all of those things, you can pull that little rubber band back and snap it, and that will break that thought just like that. It works really, really well. If you're really stubborn, you got some thoughts that just keep coming back, get you a thumbtack and put it in that and pull that. Yeah, that'll something like that will break your concentration on that thought, and it'll go away. The big deal that you can see by all of the stuff that we just talked about, the tea there, we really seriously want you to get cooled down. Right? We want you to get to a place where your temperature goes down, because as your temperature goes down, what else goes down? Anger. Anger goes down. Yeah. So he said IQ. Just, well, where he is in life, just about everything that happens takes some of his IQ. Right? All right, so that's what the T stands, is getting your temperature down. And what we need to understand about that, we've stayed a couple of minutes on it, and the reason we've stayed a couple of minutes on it is because it's important. We want to get our temperature down so that we can get our anger or shame or hurt or whatever it is under control, right? So that's what we work for. What does the I stand for?
Immerse yourself in cold water.
He's still in the cold water. And by the way, we have 2 P's. So if you have 2 P's at the end of it, what's that? PP. That's why everybody gets up and goes out of group all the time. So what's I stand for?
IPP.
IPP. Yes, you do. Intensive exercise. Intensive exercise. Why will that work to help you get out of distress? Why will that work to help you get away from emotions that's kicking your buttocks? Here's the deal. Intense exercise lowers stress and increases feel-good brain chemicals like endorphins, right? We've talked about that a dozen times. The one thing that we can do that's probably better for us than anything else that we do is exercise. Now let me share you, I know some of you guys in here, y'all go out there and try to pull the fence down and all that stuff. But most people never get any exercise. Most people never get any exercise. No people ever get enough exercise. And now, of course, when we say stuff like that, that's not true completely, because there's always outliers, right? That there's people out there that get plenty of exercise. I go to the gym, and I go over there, and there's people just, they're exercising their self half to death. Those people probably get enough exercise, but most people don't. So how come that works? How are we going to practice it?
Pull down the fence.
Say it again.
Pull down the fence.
Pull down the fence, yeah. Exercise at moderate intensity for about 15 minutes, being careful not to overdo it. Now that to me doesn't sound like much at all. But if you're not exercising at all, and you're just exercising to try to get your emotion under control, then exercise moderately, right? Yes.
Brisk walk.
A brisk walk, yeah. Exercise moderately for at least 15 minutes. You should do that every day. Over at North Point, there, the folks over there walk around that building a whole lot. There's one lady there that walks back and forth in the parking lot. I don't know where she's going, but she's making really good time. She's going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. She's doing well. And yes, it's the lady with the purple hair, and she does some pretty good exercise out there. Because, during the whole break, she's going to be walking back and forth. So she's probably got 10, 15 minutes of walking in there. So, but I'm thinking, look, you need to, when I go to the gym in the mornings, I'm going to work out for an hour. And that's still, when I leave from there, I'm usually not satisfied with that stuff, because right now I'm going to a gym that's way over in Anahuac, Texas. And so I have to drive from Anahuac to here and get here by 7:30. So that's and it doesn't open till 5:30. I've joined another gym right over here, Planet Fitness, and they're open all the time. And so whatever time I get there, I can exercise. I joined it, but I've never been in there yet to exercise. I just haven't done it. I'm going to do it. And like you said, some of the best ways to do that is walk briskly or jog. Is that guaranteed to help your health?
Yes.
Yes, it is. You should do that. We need to get our heart rate up and then let our heart rate fall down. That's going to help you. And should you pay attention to how quickly your heart rate comes down? Yeah. What's that mean?
The healthier you are, the faster your heart.
Right. The healthier you are, the healthier your heart is, and the healthier your respiratory system is, the quicker your heart rate is going to return to normal. So if you go out here and briskly walk for 15 minutes and your heart rate stays up here at 200 for the next 3 days, you're in bad shape, right? But if you go out here and walk for 15 minutes briskly and your heart rate goes up, and when you stop, by the time you sit down somewhere, your heart rate's back to normal, then you're in pretty good shape.
I'm asking this because sometimes after I walk or run, it takes me maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about the minutes. If I were you, I would take note of how many minutes it takes. When I go exercise, I get my heart rate up. By the time I walk from the exercise room out to the parking lot to my car, my heart rate's normal.
I say one last thing. Most people don't do enough walking. That's all they do is drive all the way home.
Oh yeah. If we got to go from one side of the building, we're looking for a ride.
I don't understand.
No. You need to always park the farthest I can in the parking lot wherever I go. That gives me an opportunity to briskly walk in and briskly walk out. Now, my wife, who has medical issues, you guys all know that, she gets the handicap parking spot. She gets the closest one she can. She can't walk very well. So, but try to do something, get a brisk walk going or jogging. Y'all know the guy that started the jogging craze back in the 80s? Now, how did he die? He had a heart attack while jogging. So make sure what that tells us is, look, go get one. There's a scan that you can take that checks the calcium level in your bloodstream. And if your number's way high, you need to go to the doctor and have. I went and did that. My numbers were like 900, and so I went and checked, and I had to have 3 stents. Yes, sir.
I heard I heard before that something walking is better than jogging.
Walking is better than jogging. If you briskly walk, it's almost jogging. If you briskly walk, I don't know that. The point is to get your heart rate up. So I don't know if jogging is better than walking or walking is better than jogging. Usually it's whatever fits your lifestyle better. If you haven't exercised in 30 years, you don't need to take off sprinting. You need to get out there and just do some slow, easy walks, and then beat that up to a brisk walk. Then someday you might be running, but yes.
The jogging normally takes all of your body to do. Most of the time, all you really need to do a good walk.
Yeah, so he said that walking is what? I can't think of the word. What's the word I'm looking for? Walking will do what you need it to do, but jogging involves the whole body moving and stuff. So it could be a little bit more. Yeah.
When you walk, your body tends to slow down faster and burn more calories than when you run.
And I'm not sure about that. I don't know that I believe that. He said when you walk, your body burns more calories.
I read something.
Yeah, I don't know that if I'm in agreement with that, because when I walk, my body burns calories, and I do a lot of walking. But when I run, my heart rate goes up quicker and is up there real quick, and so it'll come down. And I know my body when I'm running is burning more calories than when I'm walking. And at least that's how it feels to me. So here's the deal. What do we have to do? What do we have to do? Something. Something. Do something. Yeah. Look. If you can't run 100 miles an hour, if you can't do all of, you can walk up and down the hallway. I went out to the mall, and the mall doesn't open until about 11 o'clock. And I go out to the mall, and it's 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. There's 100 people out there walking in the mall. And they do that because it's a safe place. They've got security guards out there. It's not raining in there. They have air conditioning in there. But you see these elderly folks, man, and they're just walking through the mall. But they're doing something. They're going to live to be 130, because they're doing something. Most of us do nothing. So it says, look, you can swim, you can ride a bike.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, riding a bike is good, yes.
They say for an older person, 6 is the best exercise.
What's that?
They say 6 is the best exercise for an elderly person.
Sex?
Yes.
See,
they say, is their heart rate going?
That's those intrusive thoughts.
Well, this young man said that sex is the best exercise for old people. Old people.
I'm telling you.
And I know you're serious because we all know this young man. We're not going to tell you who he is, but that's the only thing he ever thinks about. Well, sticks. So what were you talking about? I don't know. So we're going. Will you come to church with me? Do y'all have sex at your? No. So that's why I had men. Look, jump rope or do jumping jacks. Y'all know what jumping jacks are? We used to call them side straddle hops back in Mississippi. You know, yeah, and they will work you out. Look, here's the point of all of this: is do something, and we should not start off trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. We should start off at the level we are at and try to move from there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. One day I went to my grandma's house and I knocked at the front door, and the front door was locked. So I went around to the back door, the spring door, and I locked the back door was open. I walked in the house, and my grandma was on top of my grandpa's floor.
Oh, Lord.
Sleeping.
So this is what the traumatic. This is a traumatic event that happened in his life when he was just a child, and this explains a lot of things about that individual. Okay, I'm not going to share that story with you. So, look, and all of this says, look, the reason we're doing this is try to deal with those intense emotions that's in our life: anger, shame, guilt, remorse, hurt feelings. We need to do that, and exercise will help us to do that. So we need to be about getting some exercise going on in our life. So we don't have a lot of time, but what does the first P stand for?
Temperature.
What is it?
Temperature.
Pulse.
What is it?
Pulse.
Post?
Pulse.
Pulse?
You said B?
You said G.
P.
You said G.
No, see here. The T, I, and then P. We're
I
at,
thought you said G.
yeah, we're at P now.
Play.
So what does that stand for?
Play.
Play?
Yeah.
You know it doesn't, but that's a good point. You know, when I was in the military, one of the guys that was doing the teaching about exercise was telling us, find something that you enjoy doing, and then do that. And if you really enjoy playing basketball, you'll play basketball.
Say practice.
And practice, because I've seen you guys out here, and you need some practice. But that will help. Look, that's good exercise, isn't it? You ever seen a fat professional basketball player? No. Those guys are, you know, they ain't no fat on a professional basketball player. You know, so that's a great exercise. But the P stands for paced breathing.
Pace what?
Breathing. When I want to bring down that emotional high that I'm at right now, and I need to get that thing down somewhere, get it out so I can get it away from me so it's not going to cause me any problems, I need to practice paced breathing. That increases the oxygen intake and lowers the blood pressure and lowers our heart rate. When you're up here, look, I get my heart rate up at least 3 times a week, sometimes more than once a day. And when I get my heart rate up here, my breathing is shallow.
Yeah, that's why I was about to ask. You're talking about deep breaths, more deep breaths.
Right. So when you start taking deep breaths, you start pacing your breathing, and you start counting it. You know, I've done this, I've done that. It's going to help you bring all of that stuff back down to get it to a normal level. So here's the deal. Now, this is what we're supposed to do. And if you've never done it, then you're going to be a little bit surprised because it's kind of hard to do. So you inhale through your nose, and then you hold that for 4. You go 1, 2, 3, 4 as you're breathing it in. That's a lot of air, and that gets that air all the way into the bottom of your lungs. And what I usually see when people are doing it correctly is a whole bunch of people coughing because everybody smokes, right? Everybody smokes. So as you breathe in through your nose and you get that oxygen down into the bottom of your lungs, it's going to cause you to cough because we have killed the cilia in our lungs. And the cilia can no longer do their job. And so we've all got a bunch of phlegm in the bottom of our lung. when you get air down there, it stirs that stuff up and it makes you cough half your lungs out.
So you count to 4 while you breathe, and you breathe in.
While you're breathing, you count to 4.
Meaning 4 counts of breath.
Just one breath, but you count to 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So then hold that breath for a count of 7. That's hard. You breathe it in, count to 4. 1, 2, 3, and then hold your breath for a count of 7. 7. You can do it. You can do it. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it. And then, look, you exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. What do you got? 8. What are you doing? When you exhale through your mouth for a count of 8, you're forcing the air that you have gotten to the lowest part of your lungs out, making sure that everything that's in your lungs comes out. Yeah, because we kind of breathe shallowly, and if you smoke, the more you smoke, the more shallow you breathe, because you're filling your lungs up with junk. So the more you smoke, the more shallow your breath. And so when you do this exercise, and you do it about 4 or 5 times, each time you try to do it, you're going to get every breath, everything out. Think about that. You're breathing out for 8, a count of 8. And so that means it's still coming out. You don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You go, as you're breathing it out, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to get everything out of there. It will clear you out. You need to be, when you practice deep breathing like this, you need to either be sitting down or you need to be somewhere where you can steady yourself. Because people are passed out and get lightheaded, fall over, stuff like that. So, and then it says, look, repeat this several times. Don't just do it one time, repeat it several times. And it's going to clean those lungs out, and you will be amazed at how much better you'll feel. Yeah. But people who smoke heavily have a hard time doing it. So, and it may help people get to the place where you stop smoking, which would be the bestest thing in the world. The Surgeon General said, if we stop smoking, 90% of the medical problems that we have in the United States would disappear overnight. Just if we stop using tobacco products of any kind. If we outlawed them and got rid of them, and there were no more cigarettes or cigars or chewing tobacco or snuff, all of that kind of stuff, our medical issues would disappear overnight. 90% of them.
Also, if they start taking the vitamins out of food,
All the additives and crap they put in.
Who stopped taking their vitamins?
No, I'm saying if they, because we a lot of us got, we don't know that. So the vitamin deficiency. Like,
Yeah.
They take the vitamins out of food.
Well, they're working on that now. General Mills, they make corn flakes and all of that stuff. You're going to notice a change in them pretty soon. They have outlawed all the junk in their products, and so in just a little while they're going to be healthy. So that's a good thing. That doesn't mean they're not going to be good. They're going to be healthy. So healthy is a good thing. Y'all know why? And this will help Mr. Alter. Do you know why they came up with cornflakes? They came up with cornflakes about 130 years ago. Yeah. They came up with cornflakes because, what was that?
Sterilization.
Say again?
Sterilization.
No. What did he say? I can't understand.
Sterilization.
Yeah. It wasn't really sterilization, but they felt like that people were too excited and having, just dwelt on sex too much. So they came up with a bland, goofy, nothing breakfast, and they said this will help them not think about sex so much.
Seriously?
So yes, and so Mr. Owl's back there need to be eating some of that stuff. But that's why they came up with that. Let me share with you that it did not work. Yes, sir.
That must be why when I eat regular cornflakes, I put a lot of sugar.
Yeah, because there could be, because they're bland to start with, but if you put enough sugar in there, if there is anything healthy in there, the sugar will kill it. We can't be having none of that. Right? Can't be doing nothing healthy.
You don't even want to know how many sugar.
So do it several different times. But we're going to go ahead and take our 15-minute break. So y'all come back about 15 after.
Hey, see this is that.
Well, one thing is the actual sugar.
We have an oral fixation with another. But so we have an oral fixation.
Big brother.
I didn't see the back of my laundry. I just thought you seen the front. I remember with that yesterday.
I like the boot. It's nice. Good job.
Okay.
It's gonna be on online. Yeah. I'll watch.
I don't know where she at.
I know. I'm gonna show you. Cold this morning?
Get us a bottle of water. I'm good. It's a little bit more cold.
It's a nice jacket.
I said, I was asking how you doing this morning.
Miss Reed. Miss Reed. That is my daughter makes 14 months. My daughter makes 14 months.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah. What? I know, I love it. Sad, sad day.
I'm the best.
That's a cup of juice. Here for hello. Hey! How you doing? I lost my ball. Hear me? Hello! I see you! I used to move. There you are! Hello. Hello. Good morning. Hello, ladies.
Do that dog. Can I pet that
I
dog?
bet that dog.
Check.
Check anytime.
Check.
Oh, Romeo, oh, Romeo. Oh, shoot.
That is going in the pocket.
Oh, sure.
Oh, show.
That's a check. Oh, my gosh. 2 minutes. Oh, that didn't look right.
All right, so it's time.
Start with the corner.
Yes, please. So we've been going through the tip to help us get rid of some of these emotions that's a little bit overstimulated, messing us up a little bit. So we're going to look. There's one more P that we need to look at. We're going to do that pretty quickly, and we're not going to go to the exercise that is related to it, but we're just. And then we'll move on. We have another deal that we're going to go through that's called the 9s, and there's 9 steps to taking care of yourself, and this is what we need to be looking at: taking care of ourselves. We interrupted you guys. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So the last thing on here, the last P on here stands for what do you think?
People.
P?
Puzzles.
What?
Puzzles.
Puzzles? Produce?
Pilgrims.
Pilgrims? How about progressive muscle relaxation?
That's it.
Yeah, that's what you were just going to say. I got it. What that means is I'm tensing and relaxing my muscles, and that helps the body to let go of stress. Anybody ever feel any pain in their stuff like that? Some of the time, it's always there's always different things. I woke up yesterday and my ankle swollen.
Yeah.
You know why? Yeah, because we old.
Okay.
Yeah, old people swell. Yeah, and stuff and hurt. I had a little spot on my face that was kind of numb, and I went to see my doctor down at the Thompson Clinic in Winnie, and he looked at me and he pushed on that and he said, I said, well, why is it numb like that, Doc? He said, cause you old. So I don't see him anymore. I ain't got nothing for him anymore. Yeah. So tensing and releasing your muscles helps the body let go of stress, triggering the relaxation process. Here's the deal. A lot of the time when we have some little pain or something, it's called by lactic acid. And a lot of the times if you exercise, it will release that acid out of your joints. And that's very helpful. Anybody suffer from gout? I have that. Every now and then my toe will swell up, and the gout is worse than a toothache. Man, that is some nasty stuff. Yeah, so do a little bit of work on that, a little bit of exercise, and perhaps it'll help. Now the way that we do that, and I'm going to tell you how to do it, but we're not going to do it. You either sit or lay down in a comfortable position. Get yourself to where you're comfortable, and then tense the muscles in your feet for 5 seconds, and then slowly relax it, and then do it with every muscle on your body, and it coming all the way up your body until you get up to the top. You do your calves, your legs, your midsection, your back, chest, arms, and your face, and that's gonna help you a lot. And here's the deal: once you get it tensed and you start to let it relax, you say the word "relax" to yourself. Now, I know that sounds sophomoric and it sounds a little goofy, but it actually works. This is why we teach positive self-talk, because what you say to yourself will become your reality. When you tell yourself to relax as you're letting your muscles relax, your whole system will relax and you'll get beyond all that stuff. And so, if you tell yourself you're a good a good person, a good client, a good whatever, mom or dad, you tell yourself you're a good whatever, then that's going to become your reality. Most of the time we walk around with talking negative self-talk about ourselves. Yeah.
So like when we say these here, my name's so and so, I'm Eddie. Is it?
Well, I don't do that. I don't do that.
But that's what we're talking about. They tell us to tell ourselves we're addicts. That way we never forget.
And I do understand that. He was talking about when we go to group and stuff like that, we introduce ourselves as an alcoholic or an addict. I go to, I have a group, but we go to a different type of group, and I introduce myself. Hello everybody. My name is Herschel. I've been redeemed. I don't. I was an addict, but I've been redeemed. God has taken that away from me, and all of that kind of stuff. Because as I speak something over myself, then that becomes my reality, and I'm going to stay that the rest of my life. So, yeah, you have to be. You have to know what you're doing. So anyway, we need to stop. We need to stop speaking over ourselves something that we don't want to be. Whatever you say comes out of your mouth, goes into your ears, gets into your psyche, and is who you will become. And I've made this statement probably 900 times, but I've had people tell me, I'm not going to lie about it. Well, no. This is not about lying about it. This is about the goal that I have for myself. I'm telling myself who I want myself to be, and myself will become that. And a guy not too long ago tell me, he said, well, I'm always emotional. Okay. All right. Why are you always emotional? Well, no. The reason you're always emotional is you go around saying, I'm always emotional. Okay. If you're going to say you're emotional, you're going to be emotional. I say I have my emotions under control. I have emotions. I'm a human being. Everybody has emotions, right? But I control my emotions. I absolutely can control my own emotions. Y'all know I do a anger management group, and people in there would tell me I can't control my anger. That's not true. If you walk around telling people all the time you can't control your anger, guess what happens? Can't control your anger. So we change the negative self-talk to a positive self-talk, which says, of course, I can change I can control my. I am in control of my emotions, and anger is an emotion. It's a secondary emotion, but it's an emotion. So I am in charge of that emotion. So yes, I don't have to be an angry person. We say positive things about ourselves. All right, real quickly, we don't have a lot of time. So we're going to go over these 9 steps of taking care of yourself. A lot of these have to do with the emotions, and those emotions they are either going to do good for us or they're going to do bad for us, right? We're going to have some good stuff happen or we're going to have some bad stuff happen according to how we deal with our emotions. So hectic schedule, working too hard, stuff like that can drain your energy, keep you so busy that you often forget to take care of yourself. Is it important for you to take care of yourself? Yeah, it's called self-care, right? I need to take care of me. In October, on the 13th of October, my wife and I are headed out to go camping. We're going to be camping for 2 weeks. We don't go camping, we go glamping, right? Glamour camping. We've got a 30-foot RV, and we drag that thing and take it to state parks, put it up in those state parks, and we have a pretty good time. We're going to go to Florida and Alabama and then back down. So we're going to have a good time doing that. But it's self-care to get away from all the pressures of this place and all the pressures of the church at the same time. Yes, sir?
What is glamour?
See, I just told it. Didn't I just say what glamping was? I know you didn't because you weren't paying attention. You sat over there. You were all, I did. I told you exactly what glamping means, Justin.
Glamping is camping in a very nice.
Glamour camping.
Glamour.
Camping in a shed.
Glamour camping.
Oh, well,
Glamour camping. Yeah, we have a big old nice color television in there. We can pick up stuff from all over. Yeah, we're glamping. We've got, all the food we want, and it's just good. And while you're look, we have in our RV, of course, we have a shower and a bathroom and all of those things. We've got a master bedroom that closes off, and then in the back of it, we have bunk bed things. The bottom bunk bed belongs to my wife's dog.
So you have to.
It must be a fifth wheel.
No, it's not. It's a full behind, but it's I don't like fifth wheels. You have to also think to your truck. So yeah, glamour camping, and then y'all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Got that mean
Had
ugly
to
look.
get the crowd.
Yeah. All right. So here's the deal. You need to take care of yourself, but you need to take care of yourself both physically and emotionally. And you remember we talked about how taking care of ourselves physically will help us when we're coming to try to take care of ourselves emotionally, right? Yeah. If I'm in good shape physically, then I'm going to be in better shape emotionally. That's just a fact. You see somebody that's in really good shape, they're not usually depressed. They're not usually shame-based in how they're feeling. They don't usually have to react in anger. They just, they just don't, because they're feeling good. But if you're miserable and you're feeling bad and you're overweight, you're out of shape, everything is falling apart in your life, then physically you're in really bad shape, and mentally that transmits itself over into your mental thing and your emotional thing as well. So you have to be in good physical shape if you want to be in good mental shape and emotional shape. So we need to take a moment to stop and think about what we need to do to enable ourselves to perform at our very best. So we need to be physically in good shape and emotionally in good shape. Yeah, and mentally as well. So regular self-care can improve your well-being, and it's going to improve your self-esteem. Do y'all know that when we head out to go camping, we've got all kinds of stuff to make sure that the camper is level. If you don't level it, it's not comfortable being in the camper. But if you don't level it, you know that the ice box won't work. The refrigerator won't work if it's not totally level. If you're it's got to be perfectly level, or it won't. And so we have all these little ramps and all of that kind of stuff, and that's really an accomplishment when you get that thing level. We went up here to Huntsville. They have a RV park there, and it's like this. It's and so you got to really. And that first night we were there, we were sleeping with our heads down like that. Didn't have it quite right, so we have to get to do that. We're going to be in the mountains a little bit over in Alabama, and so we're going to have to make sure that works. So it's going to help your well-being. It's going to help your self-esteem if you get it done correctly. It also increases resilience. What is resilience?
Resilience.
How you bounce back and something?
Yeah, that's my ability to stick with it.
Yeah, perseverance.
Perseverance, yeah, that's my ability to stick with it. It increases that. And look, it increases resilience that you need to help you to bounce back when problems come up in your life. And when we start having that desire to use, we need to have some resilience going on. And if I am in good shape, and if my mental capacities are in good shape and my emotions are in good shape, I'm not going to have to go run and do those kinds of things that I wanted to do in the past. So it behooves me to get in good shape. I need to be exercising. I've had people I've had people tell me I'm not in good enough shape to exercise. Is that a true statement?
No.
Yes, of course it is. There's people out there, if they went out there and had some strenuous exercise, it would kill them. Strenuous exercise would kill them. But we are in, like you were saying, we are in good enough shape to do something. Get up and go walk somewhere. I had a guy tell me back in the past, a long time ago. He said one of the things that we need to tell people to do is get rid of their remote. If they get rid of their remote, they'd have to get up, walk to the television, change the channel, and come back. Well, technology took that away from us because you can't change the channel on your television without your remote. You have to use the remote, but you can get up and walk around with it or something. There is a place on your television you can turn it off, and but you can't without the remote. You're not going to be able to do it. Now, there's some things that we can do, some self-care. I want to look at some of these so that we'll know what self-care looks like and what we can do to get our own self-care going on. Look, it's clouding up again. Tell yourself that you do matter. We're looking at getting our self-esteem up a little bit, Think about what the world would do without you. Think about that, man. The world, look, some of us don't feel so good about ourselves, but I will tell you this, if the world had to do without you, could they do it?
Yeah.
Maybe they could, but the world would be a poorer place without you specifically. And you are something important to a lot of people in this world. So look, and because you matter, it's important to spend time and energy on helping yourself feel better. How many folks want to feel better? I want to, I feel pretty good, but I want to feel better. And my wife yesterday, she had 2 doctor's appointments. She went to her heart doctor, and then she went to see a podiatrist. Why would she want to go to see those doctors?
Feel better.
She won't feel better. She wants to feel better. They did a thing on her heart, to find out if there was some blockages or something. But then she had some pain in her heel, and what do they call that? Fasciitis? Something. What is it? Plantar fasciitis. Yeah, something like that. And the doctor said, yeah, that's what it is. That he gave her a shot in that heel, and she did really well. He put that big old needle about that long in her heel, and then put all that medication in there, and she didn't whimper or cry or anything like that. And he pulled it out of there, and today she's walking a little bit better. She's doing better, and that's going to get rid of all that stuff. And praise God for that. She's in a lot of pain. We don't look. Pain has its place. Pain is a good thing for us. God put that in us to show us something is what? Wrong. Something wrong. If it hurts, it ain't right. Something's wrong. So we always want to feel better. So if you matter and you do, then we have to do some stuff to make us feel better. Self-care is finding a way to build yourself up. You look, no matter where you are, what you're doing, and all that kind of stuff, you need to be able to feel good about you. I need to be able to feel good about me. Now, there's some things that I do that are just not right. There's some things that I do that are not good. There's some things that I do that are not God honoring. There's some things that I do that I just wish I never did, like eating sugar. I don't want to do that. But then on the other hand, there's some things that I do that are good. Right? There's some things that I do that are above board. There are things that I do that are honest and things that I do that are honorable. And those things are the ones that I need to be focused on. I need to think about those things when I'm trying to build myself up. Right? That's what I need to do. And if you can look at what you do well, then that's going to help you when the whole world may see what you do bad, but if you know what you do well, then you can build yourself up. How do you do that?
You tell yourself.
Tell yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Self-talk.
Positive self-talk. And it says, look, be extra nice to yourself. How are you going to be extra nice to yourself?
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself better.
Give yourself food.
If you're having some tough love in there, yeah, don't get that extra cookie. You know that's tough love. But if you're trying to make somebody you love feel good, what do?
Say positive things.
You say positive things to them. You lift them up. You see if there's a need they have that you can meet, right? So you do the same thing to yourself. You say positive things to yourself. You lift yourself up, and you fulfill some of the needs that you perceive yourself having. Yes, sir?
Kind treatment.
Kind treatment.
They say kind treatment will tame a wild bear.
Yeah. So, did you hear what he said? He said, kind treatment, treating people kindly, will tame a wild bear. So next week, we're going to get us a wild bear. And we'll let him tame the wild bear. Now, the rest of us going to stay inside. He'll be out there in the back taming a wild bear. But he's right. I'm not going to try that part. But so be nice to yourself. Do things you enjoy and that will help you relax and unwind.
You take yourself on a date.
Say it again. Take yourself on a date. Man, that's a good idea. It is. It's a good idea. I almost never go out to eat by myself. My wife will. If she's out and about, she's going to go over there to Raising Cane's and get her some chicken, some of that kind of stuff. But I don't do that. If I go to McDonald's or something and I use my card, it shows up on her, and she can know that you went to McDonald's today. So, yeah, man. So here's the other thing, and now this is really, really important, probably the most important. Be patient with yourself. We need to be patient. Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm not very patient with myself. I'm more patient with other people. I have the Holy Spirit living inside me, and one of the things it says that if you have the Holy Spirit inside of you, you're going to be long-suffering. What does that mean? You're going to have patience with other people. Yeah. It also says that you're going to be able to have self-control. That you're going to have. So my self-control is not what I'd like it to be. Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. Just go ahead. Okay. So be patient with yourself. Here's the deal. Accept the fact that you will make mistakes. Yeah. We're going to make mistakes, right? Why do we make mistakes? We're not perfect. We're human beings. We're emotional beings. And we're not going to be able to go through this life without making a mistake or something. You're going to say something, you're going to do something, hurt somebody's feelings. What do? Apologize for hurting their feelings, accept the fact that you make mistakes, and move on. Right? If they don't forgive you for that, that's their mistake. So they're proving they're human as well. Right? There ain't nothing wrong with that. So we make mistakes. Let everybody know we make mistakes. Know that, and this is a hard one for me because, look, I'm a people pleaser. I want to please everybody. But this says, look, understand that you cannot please everybody. There's going to be somebody out there that don't like you. Why? Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for that. I know people that don't like me because. I know people don't like me because I'm Christian. People don't like me because I'm white. People don't like me because I'm male. People don't like me because I'm devastated.
Devastatingly.
I'm devastatingly good looking. And I want y'all to know there's a guy back over there, you know, he said, people don't like you because you old. See, and if I was a different type, he might not get any older himself. Yeah, you know. What? That doesn't hurt my feelings. You old. Yeah, people don't like you because you old. That's okay. He could have went a whole week without having to say something. Yes.
Can I give you a scripture for that?
Oh, you gonna give it? Okay, yeah.
It says, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing God. And whatsoever you do, good heartedly, as to the Lord, and not unto men.
Yeah. See, now he trying to make me feel bad because I said I was a people pleaser. He's got me a scripture that says, yeah, it's supposed to be no people pleaser. Feelings getting all hurt and everything. Tearing me up today. Be patient with yourself. Accept that you make sense. You can't please everybody. You know, I have a thing in my office at church that says, when you become fearless, life becomes limitless. Think about that. When you become fearless, it's got a picture of a lion. It says, when you become fearless, life becomes limitless. So when you do things, you're going to always move somebody the wrong way. There's always going to be, look, I speak to people all the time. And as I'm speaking, I can see people looking at her. He's always. And this guy here, when he's telling me, mean mate, go out of group, disrupt group, and come back in and look at you like you did something wrong. You know, so you can't please everybody all the time. So what should you do?
Disregard.
Well, you don't try. You know, you do what you know is right. Those who receive that. Those who don't receive that, guess what? They don't receive that. Maybe they will next time. Maybe they never will.
Everything ain't for everybody.
I like the way he said that. Everything is not for everybody. That's true. We have people who teach that AA is the greatest thing that ever happened, and everybody. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I'm impressed with AA, and I think people ought to go 90 meetings, 90 days. I'm an AA fan, but there are people AA don't work. So everything don't work for everybody. You know, so they had to go to a therapist where they sat one-on-one, did the same thing you do in AA, but did it with a therapist and paid bunches of money.
And the venom don't save every snake bitten person. Like.
I don't know what he said, but man.
Anti-venom don't save every snake
Oh,
person.
anti-venom doesn't save every snake bite victim. So, you know, that's a whole lot of good stuff, you know.
It ain't for everybody.
It ain't for everybody. All right, so know that you can't please everyone and take time. And look, this is important for us as folks who have drug and alcohol issues. Look, take time to grieve. If you have a reason to grieve, you need to take time to grieve. One of the things that we, as people who used to use a lot of alcohol and drugs, that was our biggest friend. That was our God. That was our coping skill. We need to take time to grieve that because we ain't gonna have that anymore. So we just sat around and, oh my God, you know, I can't do that. That's why we say one day at a time, because, you know, but for the rest of my life, I'm not going to be doing that. So, you know, we have a little bit of grief over that. Know that life things, stuff in my, will get better. You know, there's that old adage that time heals all wounds. Not real sure that's true, but time heals most wounds. Time will get you to the place where you can deal with the wound. You know, so over a period of time, it's going to be okay. This too shall pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going, that's why they say he's going through something. It doesn't mean I'm sitting there living in that, I'm going through it. And before you know it, I'm going to be to the other side of it, right?
So it won't hit instantly,
Right.
but in time.
Yeah. And today might be rough. But what are we doing? We're living for, y'all don't remember the song? Living for the weekend. And so, we're living for the weekend, so it might be rough today, but tomorrow,
Which is the weekend is the future.
yeah,
Living for the future.
look at living for the future. Okay, look, know that things will get better. It might take a minute. It might take a little bit longer for you than it does for others, but it's going to get better. It's not going to stick around. It's not going to stay just like this. It's going to get better. Now, here's number 4. Let's see how we're powerful. Number 4 says, look, invest in yourself. We're supposed to make wise investments. And if you're going to invest in anything, you need to invest in yourself. How do you invest in yourself?
Making good choices.
Making good choices. Going back to college. Going back to school. There was a lady who was, I remember her, she was like 85 years old or something like that, and she finished her degree at Lamar. And we were out there when my daughter-in-law was graduating Lamar, and this lady, been working on that since she was 20. And she quit and she went and she did all these other things and all of that stuff. And when she was 85 years old, she got her bachelor's degree. Isn't that amazing? That's the thing. We need to invest in ourselves. Go do something else. Like I told y'all the other day about Allison. Free stuff. Go get on there and learn some other stuff. Yeah, that's investing in yourself. Yeah. Go in there and learn some stuff off of it. Yeah, take the time to invest in something you know is going to be. Invest in follow your dreams. Are you going to get everything you've ever dreamed of? Probably not, but there are people who do. So if there are people who do get to fulfill all of their dreams, why is it wrong for you to fulfill yours? Not, is it? Yeah. It's okay for you to have some dreams that you need to fulfill and go about fulfilling those dreams. Even if you're getting a little bit older, you can still do those things. Study things that interest you. Establish a faith walk for yourself. Do what you need to do. Recognize, this is the number 5, recognize when you are in problems that are over your head. Even if we're positive self-talking and we're doing all the self-care and we're doing all of that stuff, we can run into some stuff that's over our head. This stuff I can't deal with by myself. What do you do when you do that?
Ask for help.
Ask for help. Yeah, that's fantastic. Sometimes this means that you need to admit that you need someone to throw you a safety line. You need some help from somebody else. This could include working with a therapist, like Miss Sierra. She's not hard to work with. Talking to a trusted person that you know. Y'all know, do you have somebody that's trusted in your life? Your sponsor can be a trusted adult that you can talk to. But look, doesn't have to be a formal thing. Doesn't have to be a sponsor. Your minister, your pastor, your sober support group. We all ought to have a sober support group. You ought to have somebody that you know you're going to be sober tomorrow.
Your spouse help you?
Your boss? Your spouse, yeah. In a situation like this, your spouse can help you. During break, I go call my spouse to see what's going on with her. I do that. And I will talk to her about some things I wouldn't talk to you about. But, I mean, we were married 52 years. She knows some things about me nobody else is ever going to know. So, yeah, you can. Now, your spouse cannot be your sponsor for a whole array of reasons.
She can be your cheerleader.
But she can still be somebody you can talk to, or he can still be somebody you can talk to. It should be able. Look, here's the deal. If you decide to spend your life with this person and you can't talk to them about stuff, something's wrong. You should be able to talk to them. Do you keep secrets from your spouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some things that's deep down here that you're going to keep that you're not going to tell anybody, right?
The change and glitter box, she won't speak.
Yeah.
Say behind the $2 bills.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not talking about that. This means you need to admit to someone to tell you that. It can include working with a therapist, talking to a trusted adult, going to a support group. And when we get out of here, we all ought to be going to a support group. There's AA, NA, FAT A, SA. Celebrate Recovery. There's all sorts of them out there. Say it again. SA. That's stupid anonymous. Stupid anonymous. There's an anonymous group for just about. What is FA? Fat Anonymous. It's real. I mean, it's real. People go to that group and they do it just like you do an AA group.
Is it a GA?
A DA?
G.
I don't know.
Greedy Anonymous.
Greedy Anonymous. I don't know if it is. I know some people who need to be in it. There's a CA. What is a CA? Cocaine Anonymous. And so they've got all kinds of them out there. So we can go do that, find us a support group. And then in number 6 it says, look, and we all know this, and some of us are going to ignore this, but it says, look, say no to situations or people you know could trigger you in a negative way. How do we say that?
Just say no.
Stay away from old people, places, and things. If I know that person is going to trigger me, that place is going to trigger me, that thing is going to trigger me, I'm going to stay away from it. Have to. So it says stay away from that. Stay away from negative things, people that are going to trigger you in a negative way. Self-care means you protect yourself so you can build a stronger future self. Right now, I'm not all that strong. But in my future self, I'm going to be strong. So, I'm going to build a stronger future self. Now, 7 tells us, think about things that happened in the past and learn from them so you don't repeat the same pattern. If I did something in the past and wound up in jail, am I going to want to do that again? No. Am I going to do it again? Maybe. Maybe. But I got to know what I'm doing before I head out that way. I got to know that, last time I did this, I went to jail for 3 years. So if I'm going to go do it again, I got to know that's a real possibility. I'm going to go back to jail. And usually if I go back, it's not for 3 years.
Way back.
Yeah, you may go way back. So don't repeat that same pattern. Self-care means taking time to really evaluate if situations or relationships are healthy. I don't want to get into a situation that's not healthy. I don't want to go into a relationship with someone who's not healthy. I've had a lot of young ladies tell me, well, yeah, I know that but I'm going to help him stop. Okay. So just evaluate those. And relationships, make sure that they are healthy. And if they should continue, and if they shouldn't continue, be willing and able to say, okay, I've had enough of that. Number 8 says, look, you focus forward. Self-care means moving ahead, not looking back. Now, we just said we look back to see if there's something back there that we did that caused us some consternation or something like that. We don't do that again, right? We don't do that again. However, we don't want to spend all of our time looking back at what used to be. You know, I pastor a little church, and that's one of the worst things that happens to those little bitty churches, because they look back in time and they say, well, we're not going to do that because we've never done it like that before. Okay, well, all of this stuff you did back there before to help the church, that ain't working now. And we need to do something to go into the future. You know, the Lord never changes. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever, but the church needs to change, you know, so that they can meet these new people. So it says, look, self-care means taking time to decide to go forward. Making goals for tomorrow or next week are your first step toward the future goal. Make a goal. What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do? You know, what's your goal for Saturday? What's your goal for this next?
Do the issue of rest.
Get some rest. All right. We don't have group or anything. Well, y'all do have some stuff, but it's a little bit different. And look, number 9, the last one is kind of, it's really important. All of these are really important. But this one, look, be proud of yourself. You know, be proud of yourself. There's a lot of people that were using the same drugs that we were using, and they're living under the bridge now. I went by a bridge the other day, drove under the bridge, and there were 3 guys and a girl and a dog living under the bridge. 3 guys, a girl, and a dog living under the bridge. I went, wow. You know, some of us, now I've lived under other people's houses. I've been homeless, lived under other people's houses. And I'm not proud of that. That was a real low ebb in my life. But look, I got my own house. I got my own car. I was thinking about it this morning. My car is 16 years old. 16 years old. But when I bought it a couple of years ago, and it only had 43,000 miles on it. A car that old, 43,000 miles on it. The guy just kind of kept it in the garage. That's all he did. It was beautiful. I really feel bad about it now because it's really nasty. I live in my car, so it's really nasty. But it was beautiful when I first got it. It's got about 93,000 miles on it. That means I put 50,000 miles on it. Because not only do I live in my car, I use it. That old boy didn't use it at all. I got to get some tires today because you can see the threads through my tires. I do not like, that's why God put me together with my wife, because I do not like to spend money. My wife has no compunction to that at all. She'll spend it. And, yeah, she's good.
16 years old.
Yeah, it's 16. No, not yet. It's a 2009, which makes it 16 years old. So be proud of yourself. I can be proud of the fact that I don't live under somebody else's house right now. And you can be proud of yourself because you made the decision to go through this. It might be the 3rd time or the 4th time through it, but still, look, you made a decision to do the right thing. You can be proud of that. Declare victory when things go well. When things happen the right way, recognize when you make good choices. Every time I don't eat some sugar, every time somebody, I went back here and the lady said, "You want a piece of candy?" No, and I can't help it. When I go in there and we have a meeting and stuff, they buy donuts. Guess what they do with them donuts? They eat them. Right in front of me, they eat them. And then they put the donuts right in front of me. And they open up the donut box, and here's these donuts, and y'all know donuts talk, right? Donuts are all in there going, "Eat me. Come on now, eat me." Yeah, So, but when I sit through that meeting, and I don't eat the donut, that's a victory, right? I did, and I can be proud of that. or when you succeed at something that you have been working toward. You can be proud of yourself. The next time you hear take care of yourself, remember these 9 little things and do them. And I will see you. Thank you for being in group. I appreciate y'all. I think we met our goal.
This part responsible.
Oh yeah. You all any questions, comments, or smart